Hey everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Bones X Formula 99s. Now, full disclaimer before I begin the review, Bones/Skate1 actually sent me these wheels for free, more so for testing out an experimental shape in this formula. They did not know about this channel until they had already made this offer, and then I told them about it. There isn't any promises of any money, any sponsorships, or any free other materials used for collateral. So even though I did get these wheels for free, this is still going to be my honest opinion about these wheels. And again, Bones/Skate1 isn't actually sponsoring this video or this channel. This was meant as testing an experimental product, and they had no knowledge of this channel until after I told them. So let's get into it. I've been skating these wheels for very close to a month by now. They've held up very well. I haven't had any chips or peeling from the wheels, and aside from the dirt, you would think that they were brand new. Now, by just rolling around, these wheels feel very close to a traditional hard wheel. Not quite one-to-one. They may feel a little bit on the kind of slightly softer bouncer side to some people, but for me, they really did feel just like a traditional hard wheel, like a normal 99A wheel. Now when rolling, it really doesn't feel like it was absorbing a lot of vibration, nor does it feel like it has the smoothest roll, at least compared to other options like softer options, but it rolls for a lot longer compared to other 99A wheels. It's super easy to get into a power slide, and it has a very large barking sound when power sliding, and it also has a very loud sound when rolling. And I know the really big complaints of the other wheels, such as the Power Dragons and also some of the Bones X Formula 97s, was that it wasn't loud enough. Whenever people would roll or slide, they felt like the wheel still felt too soft, and the wheel was just way too quiet. And I found with this formula, it pretty much fixes those issues. So that is going to be a very huge benefit to those wanting to try out these wheels, but they want something that still feels close to home. Now, concerning the power sliding, it is a short, grippy, and very controllable slide. For example, you have a very hard wheel like a 1-1A, you're on a smooth area, and you get into a power slide, you're either going to be sliding for a very long time, or you're pretty much just going to slip out. Now, I found with these wheels, when you're getting to a power slide, be it on street or park, rough or smooth surfaces, the slide felt very consistent to where it was grippy slide, so it's definitely going to slow you down if you're going too fast. The slide definitely felt short compared to other hard wheels. I would say this is also a good thing if you need to slow down or you're trying to stop. And it was also a very controllable slide, especially when going fast. I found that whenever I got to a slide, I could always get out of the slide when I wanted it to. And I didn't have problems slipping out of a power slide personally. Now, I found this wheel to be fast in both park and street, but it also still had a good amount of grip. Now, I know in my previous reviews about the Power Dragons and the Bones X97s, I said that, in a smooth area like the park, the wheel didn't feel all that too special. Now, with the 99s, I really did feel like they were a pretty fast wheel in the skate park, so much so that I am actually making a comment about it. So that was a very nice thing to feel. I found this wheel to be really versatile in both street and park. It had the benefits of being both a really good street wheel and also a really good park wheel. Now, I had the chance to actually skate these wheels on wooden surfaces, and I found that it is a very fast wheel on these wooden surfaces. I had a really good time with them, but I also did have to be careful about slipping out because these wheels do slip out. I found that especially on smooth surfaces, if I wasn't being careful, maybe I carve a little bit too hard, or maybe I just didn't land correctly, I found that these wheels would slip out. So that is one thing to be taken note of if you are having this issue. And this was especially true on the wooden ramps, where I didn't exactly lock into a grind right, or I didn't land out of a trick right. Sometimes I would slip out, and that sucked a lot. So if you're someone who is worried about slipping out a lot and you're having that problems with your wheels, this may not be the option for you. This is also not a cruiser wheel. I would say if you're looking for something that's, a mix of hardware or a soft wheel, or you just want something to push around on, there are definitely still going to be better options out there. I would say this is a wheel for tricks that just is really good at what it does. And if you're going to be comparing it to the Power Pro Dragons or the Bones X Formula 97s, for these wheels you're going to have to push a lot more compared to those other two options that I mentioned before, because this is going to be the harder ones out of those two. And if you're concerned about vibration absorption, or you want more grippier slide, then the other two options are going to be a better bet compared to the X Formula's 99. Sorry for the sudden change in microphone and then change in footage. Turns out when I recorded the last part of my review, the microphone actually wasn't turned on. Anyways, the last part of this video is going to be a very brief comparison of the Power Pro Dragons, the Bones X 97s, and the Bones X 99s. And I'm going to keep it brief because you've definitely heard me say all of this before, and I'm honestly at the point of repeating myself. Anyways, for the Power Pro Dragons, you're going to get a much more smoother roll, a lot less vibrations, at the cost of the wheel feeling a little bit soft to some people, and getting into a slide is going to feel a little bit much more difficult compared to the Bones X formulas. It is also going to be a much quieter wheel. You won't get a super loud barky sound when you're power sliding, and you won't get a super loud rolling sound. Now this can be, depending on your type of preference, this can be a pro or a con. Now for the Bones X 97s, they do feel much closer to a traditional hard wheel, but not quite. Some people might find they still feel a little bit soft, a little bit too grippy. But as for rolling, it's not as smooth as Dragons. You still are going to feel some more vibrations, but it definitely does push through a lot of rough spots really well. It definitely slides a lot easier than the Dragons, and a lot of people find that this is a really nice option for them because they can definitely get a much traditional feeling, harder wheel feeling, at the same time still getting the benefits that the Dragon has. Now with the Bones 99s, like I said, it does feel a lot more like a hard wheel. Now completely ignoring the Dragons for this section, if you're directly comparing the X Formula 99s and X Formula 97s, so the 97s compared to the 99s are going to have a much smoother roll. At the same time, it might feel a little bit too soft for people, might be a little bit too quiet for people, and getting into a power slide may be a little bit more difficult to do. Now as for the 99s, it's going to be the opposite. It's not going to have as smooth as a roll as the 97s. It's not going to reduce the vibrations as much as the 97s, but it does feel much more like a traditional hard wheel, and it is also going to be much easier to get into a slide. And it's also much louder when you're sliding and rolling. And I think for the people who are more used to a wheel, let's say like a OJ99 or a Spitfire 99, and they want to try this wheel, but they don't really want to have something super different to what they're used to, I think this would be a really good starting point for them, because it is going to feel much similar but has a lot of other additional benefits. Now if you really can't decide between the X Formula 97s or the 99s, in my personal opinion, you can just flip a coin and then you just choose from there. Just try one out, and if it works for you, great. If you want to go harder or softer, well, you have those options. Either, let's say you choose the 97 and you feel like you want to go harder, you have the 99. But if you wanted to go softer, you got the Power Pro Dragons. So that's pretty much all my thoughts about this wheel. I am honestly trying to think of more negative things to say about this wheel, but honestly, this wheel has really done well. It's really delivered on all the promises it's made, and I would say it is one of my favorite formulas. It pretty much does everything I want it to do. Aside from some issues like slipping out, I honestly cannot think of other cons that I haven't mentioned already. So yeah, that has been another video. If you think I missed anything, you have comments, questions, anything like that, just leave them in the comment section below, and as always, I will see you in the next one.